marriage can be hard. Relationships are hard. And there's so many different books and ideas and tips and tricks out there on how to improve your marriage, how to improve your relationships. But I want to highlight one simple thing that everyone can do. It's one of the best predictors of the success of a marriage that has been discovered by John Gottman and his wife, Julie. And we're going to talk about that in this episode. One simple predictor for successful marriage, and something that you can enact almost immediately in your relationships to create and cultivate more rich, meaningful, satisfying, and attentive marriages, relationships. So stay tuned for this episode of Ask a Catholic Therapist. Marriage is a relationship, and it's an intense relationship. It's you live with somebody, you see them day in and day out, and you're incorporating two people's lives, right, with one another. There's this coming together of personalities, of habits, of preferences. And so one of the most prominent marriage researchers in psychology is a guy by the name of John Gottman. He started something called the Gottman Institute. And one thing that I think is really interesting, Gottman highlighted something that he thought was one of the best predictors of whether a marriage would be successful, whether a marriage would stay together. And one of the best predictors was whether or not couples turned toward each other. Whether or not couples turned toward each other. So what Gottman found was that for couples that had successful marriages where they stayed together longer than 6 years, the couple turned toward each other 86% of the time. 86% of the time. Of the couples that didn't stay together, they only turned toward each other 33% of the time. So this turning toward one another ends up being really important. What do we mean by turning toward? Well, there's three options in an engagement. So let's say you're sitting down, you get home from work and you start eating, and your spouse starts telling you a story about her day or his day. And you just keep your head down, you keep eating. That would not be what we consider turning toward your spouse. Turning toward your spouse is looking up, it's engaging them, it's saying, hey, tell me more about that. Gosh, that sounds really tough. What was that like? Or, man, that must have been so stressful. What did you do? Turning toward your spouse is showing that you're engaged. It's showing that you're interested. It's showing that you're paying attention. It's directing your being, right? Your attention, your interest, yourself toward the story, toward the event, toward the person of your spouse. What's another option? Another option is turning away. So turning away could be, I'm sitting there eating, my spouse is telling me about her day, and I just keep eating. I just keep eating. It's almost as if I'm ignoring her. I'm not paying attention, or I'm not acknowledging that I'm paying attention. Turning away. But we can also turn away with negativity. So I could be eating, my spouse is telling me about her day, and I say, gosh, can't you just see that I'm busy? Can't you see I'm just trying to relax for a minute? So not only am I disconnecting from the relationship or turning away from her, but I'm also adding negativity. So our three options in a marriage are turn toward, turn away, or turn away with negativity. Hopefully it's obvious that turning away or turning away with negativity are not effective. Now, what can we do? Let me give you guys three quick things that we can do to maybe improve this in our own marriages. The first is check-in, little check-ins. Set aside 5 or 10 minutes every day just to check in with your spouse. You can ask them questions like, hey, what's going on for you today? And what can I do to help you? What's going on for you today? And what can I do to help you? Is there anything that I might be able to do today for you to help your day? You can do this in morning over coffee. You can do this at night after dinner, maybe after the kids have gone to bed. Hey, is there anything that you need from me as we go into tomorrow? These are little ways to reconnect, to engage, and to show that you're interested in your spouse, you're interested in their life and what's going on with them interiorly and exteriorly. It's a way of turning toward and engaging them. So 5 to 10 minute check-ins every day. What do you need from me? How can I help you? The second is look for little opportunities to engage. So there's so many opportunities throughout the day. Little glances. When your spouse meets your eye, meet their eye. Give them a wink, right? Blow them a kiss. Little rubs on the shoulder. If somebody rubs your shoulder, touches the small of your back, walks in the room and says, "Hey, you," right? These little verbal, nonverbal bids for engagement are all opportunities to connect quickly or to turn toward your spouse. Turning toward doesn't have to be huge. It doesn't have to be a big thing that happens all the time. It can happen in little ways. And so look for opportunities all throughout the day in the little ways to connect with your spouse and to turn toward them. So when you walk by your spouse in the kitchen, give her a little peck on the cheek. Give him a little peck on the cheek. Walk by and give him a loving pat on the back or on the small of the back. You walk in a room, say, hey, you, hey, beautiful, right? Just a little bid for connection goes a long way. And stringing those small things together, rather than doing one big thing, stringing those small things together is oftentimes a really effective way to turn toward your partner multiple times throughout the day and cultivate a sense of connection. The last thing is when you get it wrong, and sometimes you will, just repair. So I'm going to make a mistake. When I make a mistake, I can always go back and say, hey, I can tell you were really looking to tell me a story, and I feel like I wasn't attentive to you, or I was really grumpy and dismissive. I'm sorry. I wonder if you'd share that with me now. When you rupture or create a break in the relationship, go back and repair it. This takes humility, it takes courage and bravery, but it's so important. No matter how small the rupture, always repair. The other thing you can do is in a time when you can't turn toward your spouse, there are times when we're busy, we're doing something else, we can't turn toward our spouse. It's absolutely okay to say, hey, I really want to hear this story, but right now I need to just take 2 minutes and go up and get a shower and relax. Or, hey, I wonder if you'd let me just finish doing the bills here, and then I'm all yours, okay? So when your partner makes a bid for engagement, when your partner makes a bid for connection, if you miss it, repair. But if you can't turn toward them, let them know why, let them know what you're going to do, and let them know when you will be available. So try those 3 things, and I think they'll be incredibly helpful in helping you turn towards your spouse, engage them, connect them with your person, with your interest, with your attention. This is so important in relationships, and we desire it so much. But sometimes as life gets busy, as life gets stressful, as we have more and more kids, we are facing in the same direction, right? We're both looking forward, pulling in the same direction, but we forget to turn toward each other. Don't forget to turn toward each other often, frequently, in big ways and small ways. And when you make a mistake, just repair. Hope that helps. See you next week on Ask a Catholic Therapist. Again, if you're interested in participating in our Advent program, check it out in the link below. I think it's going to be really exciting. My partner Isaac and I have come up with some, I think, really impactful exercises and talks and reflections to help you deliberately engage this season in order to cultivate expectation, in order to cultivate silence, in order to prepare your hearts to better receive the Christ child. So if you're interested, check the link below, and we'll see you guys next week.
If you like what we're doing at Ask a Catholic Therapist, follow us on Facebook. If you want to ask a question, email us at askacatholictherapist@gmail.com. Don't forget to like this video and to subscribe to the channel in order to get more great content. Peace.